Hey, y'all. The best way to retire with a smaller portfolio and generate a bunch of income. That's what this series is all about. Now, you probably noticed from the thumbnail or the title, I don't know where I'm going to put it. QYLD, gone. Sorry, folks. Um, in the context of this series, right, which is generating a consistent amount of income every single month, right, on a smaller portfolio, which started out at about $250,000. Um, QYLD didn't work for that. Okay. Um, for QYLD to work, you would really need a bigger portfolio where you would reinvest probably 25 to 50% of the distribution back into the fund and live off the other part. So to get that performance, you would probably need 500, 600,000, and then, reinvest half the distribution back into it. That is just to account for inflation, number one, and the net asset value drop of QYLD over time. Uh, in the context of this series, it's just not going to work. So it's goners. What did I replace it with? I replaced it with small cap. So this is going to essentially be large cap versus small cap. I'm going to try to get the QYLD side back up because it left us with like $200,000, right? It went from 250 to 200. We lived on it for what, over 2 years. But at the end of the day, the income has decreased so much that it's just not going to work anymore. So I replaced it. What else do I got? Oh, before I forget, check out the Amazon link down below. That's a great way to support the channel for those of you that don't have any other way. If you want to show a little extra support and you are an Amazon customer, use my link. It only takes you a couple of seconds really, to grab the link, bookmark it on your computer, and use it every time you shop on Amazon. And then Amazon will send me a couple of pennies my way. I would truly appreciate it. So here we go. We're going to do a quick overview of August. August ended up, right? This is the QQQ side, the large cap side. And we ended up being assigned 400 shares of QQQ because they ended up in the money. We had a 300 strike. And on September 16th, QQQ was at $300. So we had to spend 120 grand. What else happened? The covered call on the SOXLs, those expired worthless. And then that was it. And then QYLD, it says 199 here because the price has dropped since then. But when I did this on Monday or Tuesday of this week, it was 200 and something thousand. We'll see that in the September version. So here we go to current month. And you'll see SOXL. Oh, did we get... Let's go back here. Yes, we got assigned another 10 contracts of SOXL at $16. So now we have 2,000 shares of SOXL at a average cost basis of $20.50. We got the 400 shares of the NASDAQ QQQ at an average price of $300, so 120 grand. And what did we end up doing? Well, we ended up selling at the money covered calls on the Qs. Cash needed to secure here is 0 because it is a covered call. We own the shares. So we'll have 4 covered calls because 4 contracts equals 400 shares, which is what we have because each contract is 100 shares. And each of those out to the expiration of October 21st gave us $650 in cash for each contract. So that turned out to $2,600. Next thing we did, we sold even more SOXL cash secured puts. We did a $9 strike out to October 21st. We did 10 of those contracts, put contracts, and that gave us $55 a piece, so $550 in cash for those. We do need to set aside $9,000 to secure those contracts. And next, we sold, yes, we did. On our 2,000 shares of SOXL, we sold 20 covered calls out to October 21st at a strike of $21, which is right at pretty much our cost basis. And no cash needed to secure because we own the shares. And we got $7 a piece for each of those contracts for a total of $140. RYLD actually didn't report a dividend unless I'm missing it somewhere. So I'm just going to use, if it's zero and this month doesn't pay out this month or something, I'll adjust it. But I'm just going to go ahead and just use the previous months, and I'll do some adjusting if I need to. But that would be $414 there. So a total of $3,704 in cash, right? Excess amount of $704 because we want $3,000 out of this account. So what it ends up being is we have $91,270 in cash. And then because we had to buy all these shares, you know what? That is wrong too. Anyway, these numbers are correct because I did them manually. $91,270 in cash money. Okay. And then the cash minus the secured is just the $9,000 for those contracts of SOXL. So we still are sitting on $82,270 in cash available for us to spend. And then we collected $3,704 in income, $3,000 of which we will be spending to pay bills, and $704 of that went back into our account. Actually, I think it's, I'll have to double check those numbers, but I'm pretty sure that's right. If I go back to August and we look at those numbers, yeah, see this was wrong. I don't know what I did wrong there, but it worked out. These numbers are correct. So that's it. We got the 2,000 shares of SOXL. We sold 20 covered calls on them. We got 400 shares of QQQ, and we sold 4 covered calls on it. And then we're trying to average down on SOXL by selling more cash secured puts on it. So that's how the the QQQ, RYLD, SOXL large cap side has turned out this month. QYLD, again, it's gone. What we did was IWM, and that is the Russell 2000. It is not the 3X semiconductor. We'll just put on here Russ 2000. We don't own anything, right? We ended up just having $202,368. So what I did is I went pretty aggressive. Okay. Now, if I was being analytical, I would have probably waited until the Fed made their announcement and then sold these puts. But my goal here is to try to make this as unanalytical as possible. I want it to be a bit more mechanical, right? I'm trying to make it to where, okay, you only look at this once a month, you place your trades, you collect your money, you don't look at it again until the expiration date, right? That's, 2 times a month as you're looking at these portfolios. That's how I'm trying to make this, right? So simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy type stuff. Okay, so we did IWM, and I'm trying to remove as much of the thinking, right? So if I would have waited until the Fed made their announcement, I would have been able to get a lot more money for these puts, and I knew that on Monday, but I didn't want to do it because I just wanted to be almost automated, right? Now, if you're doing this on your own, you can, do whatever you want. But so what we did, we got aggressive. We sold 170 strike, 10 contracts. There's $170,000 needed to secure those contracts. So on August 21st, if IWM is $170 or below, we would need to spend $170,000 and buy 10 contracts, which would be 1,000 shares, because each contract is 100 shares. So each of those puts at the time of the sale brought in $350 each. Times 10, $3,500. So not a bad haul. So what did that end up doing? Well, we need to pull $3,000. Yes, I know QYLD. I didn't upgrade QYLD's income requirements because it was doing so poorly. But since we're going to go into regular equities, I'm going to say we need $3K from this. So now this portfolio is worth $202,000, and we're still going to be trying to get $3,000 per month to live on. And we did. We got $3,500 excess. So $202,868. So we increased by $500, but cash minus the secured $32,868 in cash sitting in our account in case of an emergency or whatever. 170,000 of that is being secured. We still have the cash, but it's being secured for these contracts. But we got $3,500 now. If you were asking, how did you get that 20% yield you're showing on there? And I'll show you how. So you got $3,500, right? $3,500, and all we're using is $170,000, right? We look over here. All we're using is $170,000 to get that $3,500. So 3,500 divided by 170,000 equals 0.02. So if you want to times that and find the percentage, you times that by 100. That's 2.05%. That's in a month. Times that by 12. 24.7% yield, essentially. It's an income yield. It's not a dividend. It's an income yield. So 24.7% income yield on the small cap side. And on the QQQ side, it was very close to the same. But the IWM, basically 25% income yield. We'll see going forward if we continue this. Like right now, for instance, you'll see where it's almost in the money. Current share price 171. Strike needed to buy is 170. When I put these on, the share price was 178, I think, right around there. And we're already almost in the money. But that's okay. Like I said, if you want to play the Fed and wait until, they said something, you could get a lot more for these contracts, because these contracts are probably worth $600 a piece now. Okay. So, that's all I got. The best way to retire with less: large cap versus small cap. Let's see who, works out. I'm personally trying to do the small cap myself in my own portfolio, but it's going to take me some time to get there. And that's going to be eventually, I don't know when, retire with less mini me. That's what I'm going to call it. So anyway, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you would, the Amazon link, I'd appreciate it. You guys have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. I am not a financial advisor. The information contained in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be investment advice. Please seek a licensed professional for any investment, tax, or legal advice. Thank you.